Hi everyone and welcome back. This week I'm going to be discussing a bit about adversity. Adversity, the definition, is an uncomfortable or difficult situation. So that could mean losing your job, losing your wife, losing your house, losing a loved one. And there are two different types of ways that we can deal with adversity. Now, the one that we're all most common with is obviously drowning in adversity. And what I mean by that is, when we come to an unpleasant or difficult situation in life, we'll always try and figure out a way to suppress the pain. And what we do in this instance would be turning to alcohol, turning to pills. Comfort eating is another one that we tend to do. And basically, guys, all this really does is suppress the true feeling, right? And it's not going to do you any benefit in the long run, because due to the fact that you're going to have to face reality, right, at some point. The second way that you can deal with adversity, and I've learned how to do this through confronting and dealing with a lot of different adversities through life. And that would be to allocate time to grieve about the situation, right? We are human beings, we do have emotions, so we need to grieve the situation. Whether that be putting a 2-hour time limit or a 2-day time limit on, that's up to you to decide. What we then need to do is obviously accept that this adversity has happened to us. And at the same point, we need to understand that we had something to do with the fact that we're in this situation. And what I mean by that is, if for example you've lost your job, it could be that you weren't performing correctly. If your wife broke up with you, you obviously weren't, not you, but the relationship wasn't going right. So what you need to do is figure out what led you to that point. Now, a lot of you are probably saying, well, what did I have to do with someone dying? Well, the reason why I say that is because, perhaps you never spent enough time with that person while they were alive. And the thing that may be getting to you the most is the fact that you'll never see this person again, right? So you need to figure out what got you to that point, and then you need to strategize a way moving forward. Now, if it was in fact that, you got involved in a relationship with someone that was absolutely bonkers, you need to look back on that relationship and find those triggers, right? Because when you get into the next relationship, there is a possibility that if the next person is bonkers, they're going to have the same characteristical traits, right? So if you teach yourself what the negative characteristical trait will be earlier on, you're not going to get to that point where you've fallen head over heels, you find out she's bonkers, you get hurt, or he's bonkers, should I say, you get hurt, and then, you're back in the same situation. And then, once you do that, you need to start taking action. And what I mean by that is, if you've lost your job, taking action is get your CV done up. Start looking for another job, right? The only true time that adversity strikes and you can't really do anything about it is if you die. That's the only time you can't change a terrible situation, right? So that's a bit about the two different ways in which you can handle adversity. A good example that I have is, a while back I lost a job. I was really focused in this job. I gave it my all. I relocated for the job, and a few months down the line I ended up losing the job. Now, that was to no fault it's not just, that was my fault, right? Even though I had dedicated myself 100%, I was still, doing a few little minor things which caused a negative reaction in my job. And what I did from there was, obviously being upset, I set aside 2 hours for myself to really deal with the adversity, be angry, be pissed off. You know how it is, the world's out to get you in that in that specific moment. I didn't, let myself feel hurt. After that, I went into my room, I closed the door, and I just sat with a blank piece of paper, a pencil in front of, and a pencil, and I strategized, okay, Marco, what did you do wrong to get you to this point? Well, I went out drinking a few nights, I came to work with a hangover, say for example, or I wasn't coming to work on time, but I was working later. And I wrote all of those down. And then I said to myself, well, Marco, what are you going to do in your next job that's going to prevent this from happening, right? So I put my strategy in place, I got everything together, and then I thought about what I want to do next with my life. Because at the end of the day, I want to live a happy life. I managed to strategize on the next job that I wanted to apply for, the industry that I wanted to be in. I did my resume up and I started sending the CV out. By the next week, I had 2 job interviews lined up, and within a week and a half, I was employed. Now, I could have gone about it the other way, which I have done previously, and that was losing my job, feeling sorry for myself, going out, getting drunk, really losing control of myself. And you know, the only thing that's benefited me in the long run was that I destroyed everything that I managed to build prior to that point, right? So that's not what we want to do. What we have to realize is adversity comes into our life for a reason. It comes to teach us a lesson. What lesson is there to learn, you know, from someone that's dying or something like that? Well, you know, if you lose someone, this is a great lesson to teach us that life is not certain. At some point we will die. At some point the people we love will die. So what do we have to do? We should spend more time with those people, right? We should ensure that when we live our life to the fullest, because we never know when our time's going to come, right? Well, how do you learn a lesson with relationships? Well, it's not to say never fall in love again, right? The lesson to learn is how to select your partner, or what to look out for in your partner, any warning signs, things like that, to prevent you going down the same road that you have gone down before. Losing your money in business, what is that going to teach you? Well, perhaps you rushed into a decision. Perhaps you didn't suss out the industry that you're going to get into, or something along those lines. And what this lesson teaches us is to take our time when making important decisions, to really understand marketplaces before we get into them. So that's a bit about adversity. It is unpleasant, it is a difficult time. B, you don't have to drown in the adversity. C, learn how to reprogram your mind to deal with adversity. And D, adversity comes to teach us a lesson. Next week, I'm going to be talking a bit about fear. So guys, have a great week and look forward to speaking to you again. Cheers.